Welcome to this mentoring session. You're going to find it very valuable because I'm going to get into one of the major reasons people don't sustain success. Let's start off with chapter 72 from the Everyday Hero Manifesto. It's called Escape Post-Moonwalk Astronaut Affliction. Apollo astronaut Buzz Aldrin, part of the first space crew to land on the moon, was asked what it was like to be there. His poetic response, magnificent desolation. Isn't that beautiful? Yet, as the years passed, this man who walked on the lunar surface for about 3 hours struggled with depression and alcoholism. He was filled with a sense of aimlessness and the inability to find an undertaking that would excite his enthusiasms after his life-altering experience. How does one follow up on the accomplishment of reaching the moon? Aldrin wrote in his memoir called Magnificent Desolation. I'm reading it. It's a fantastic book. I'd recommend that you read it. That after lunar landing, there was no goal, no sense of calling. Highlight that, please. No sense of calling, no project worth pouring myself into. And so, as you make your ascent into the higher flights of exceptionalism and the loftier reaches of your finest abilities, beware of the phenomenon of post-moonwalk astronaut affliction. And what that's really about is it's great to arrive at your personal Mount Everests. Fantastic. But you don't want to rest on your personal Mount Everests because that's the beginning of the end. I've always felt that there really is a very quick drop from world class to irrelevance. And so I want you to start thinking about Buzz Aldrin, and I want you to start thinking about what projects are you working on, or maybe it's with your fitness. What fitness goals are you nearing? Or maybe it's with your love life, your relationship standards or your commitments in your relationship. And there were maybe things that you wanted to reach with your significant other and you're already there in terms of intimacy, for example, or communication. Maybe it's in terms of your financial life. You're getting to certain goals and what I call HVTs, high value targets that you always wanted to reach. Please remember post-moonwalk astronaut syndrome. If you don't have your next level of goals, if you don't keep your fire in the belly, if you don't have something to reach for, new mountains to climb, you might fall into a malaise. And that happens to a lot of the heavyweights that I mentor. They sometimes, say, oh, I've built this company over the past 8 years and I just sold it. And they think that laying on a beach, sipping margaritas is going to bring them all this joy. And here's what generally happens after 2 months. They're completely bored. And sometimes they go into depression because they don't have that driving force and that sustaining calling that will keep them going. So let me finish this mentoring session with a few final insights. I would say, number one, there is a very slippery slope of success and you need to keep making things better and you want to keep on reaching for higher standards and bigger wins so you don't lose your momentum and your inspiration. Second thing, I would say the key is not really succeeding, the key is sustaining. I remember one of the organizations I worked with and a top executive went to one of those leadership courses at Harvard Business School. He was there for, I think, 6 months. And he said to me, one of our professors kept on saying the same thing. Is it sustainable? Is it sustainable? Is it sustainable? It's a great thing, like in your business. Okay, here's a product. Is it sustainable? In your fitness life, is it sustainable? So you want to not only get to success, you want to sustain it and you want to amplify it and increase it. I think in many ways, the key is what I call an emotionally compelling cause. If you're doing it just for the money or the FFA, fame, fortune, and applause, write that down. FFA, fame, fortune, and applause, then you're not going to have the emotional enthusiasm that will get you to the higher reaches of your greatest potential. If you're doing it just intellectually for FFA, fame, fortune, and applause, you might suffer from that post-moonwalk astronaut syndrome. What are some specific tactics to avoid that syndrome? I'd say, number one, the 60-minute student every single day. Schedule, because the things you schedule are the things that you get done. Schedule 60 minutes of reading or studying to make your craft better. And related to that is Anders Ericsson. He was at Florida State University. He was the one who pioneered the 10,000-hour rule. He realized that great chess players and great athletes and all world-class performers showed their first signs of success after the equivalent of 10,000 hours of practice at their skill. But he also came up with another term called deliberate practice. And what he found was, for example, brain surgeons who just kept on repeating the same operations over 20 years generally didn't get better. Sometimes their skills degraded. It was the ones who went to work and were very conscious and deliberately, while they performed their operations, said, okay, here's what I did yesterday. Here's what I'm going to do today to make my skills better. So practice deliberately to get better at your craft. All right. I'll see you in the next session.